This video is made for adult collectors because my allergies have been so bad these last few days. It's really annoying. Heatwave. I was kind of hoping he'd do the splits if I slammed him on the table, but it didn't work and I'm very annoyed. So red alert. There it goes. Mold degradation, that's always unfortunate. It's when a mold is used a certain number of times that it starts to degrade, and the length of time between how a mold degrades varies. Like, the Siege Seeker mold seems to be holding up super well after I don't know how many uses, but the Bulkhead mold hasn't lasted the greatest. Bulkhead Mark II, and Breakdown for me were fine, but once it got to Heatwave, I could see where the mold's starting to feel unfun. And I like this mold, so it's a bit of a shame. This is Heatwave from Age of the Primes, and this was bought at GameStop Canada. Here's the box, not sponsored. Thanks, Dan. I've talked about this mold twice, so I wasn't initially gonna talk about this figure, but there's just a lot to mention here that I feel it's worth discussing. I like the colors, the deep red with the sparkly silver, the bits of gold and yellow with the clear blue. It feels very Rescue Bots. Like, it's hitting that vibe I got from looking at the regular Rescue Bots Heatwave, and I like that quite a bit. I like that feeling. The ladder on the back works great as a replacement for the shield part from the previous version of the mold, but I have other issues with the ladder I will get to later. The chest really feels like it sticks out a bit more here. Like on the other ones, it doesn't feel as egregious, but they don't really change in size. I think it just has to do with the color and like the little study bits on the side that are supposed to be his fingers but aren't. It makes it look weird. And most of the upper body is new. Forearms, shoulders, chest, head, thighs, some bits at the back, all new. And the new parts are cool. The head is nice, but really tiny. It feels small in the middle of this thing, but it's a nice head sculpt. The light piping is done in such a way that you can see the eyes behind the goggles of sorts. That's actually, I like that effect. I kind of wish they do that a little bit more now. He has this very Rescue Bots looking gun and his small fire axe. The shoulder here, oh god. Every time I move this, it comes unpegged, and it's never happened on any of the other copies I have. It's kind of similar to Skybite's shoulder that we looked at previously. And the chest here. It pegs together great with the bit at the stock because it's not clear. It's like full plastic this time, but underneath that is where it comes undone a lot. And it's weird because none of the other versions of this figure that I've had have had that issue. So Heatwave's posing is very similar to Bulkhead and Breakdown and all them, but there's some mold degradation things and some new limitations with some of the new parts, which is kind of odd because they're designed very specifically on this toy to not impede the articulation, and then they're just removed here so it does impede. It's very weird. So the head can look up that far, you can look down that far. You do get a little bit of tilt and full rotation. The shoulders, they can do full 360, they can go out, and as you saw, this one will just like come unpegged, which is rather annoying. This one is completely fine. It doesn't do the thing. You do have a bicep rotation. The elbows. So the elbows are, from what I can tell, the same exact piece as on Bulkhead, and they bend just like normal universal elbows would. These though, thoop and thoop. And I don't know why, because Breakdown doesn't do that either, and he's the one that came out just before this guy, and like both of his elbows thoop into place in two spots. You can cheat it, obviously, but like, it's weird. And then you have the wrist joint. And this ladder, it does move around a lot. There's no like, it doesn't sit in one specific spot, so when you grab it, it does move. It's not a deal breaker, it's just a little annoying. He does have a waist joint, and this is where the hindrance comes in. So these thigh pieces, as you can see, are entirely new. They are not the same as this guy. Actually, I'll bring Breakdown in because it's easier to see. Breakdown has the same thighs as Bulkhead. And as you notice, they're like angled, so they can move around and do all that. But when you rotate the waist, right, you can still move the hips all the way forward because of this angle. Because the waist joint isn't at the waist, it's actually at the crotch. So this hip design allows for you to rotate the waist and still be able to use the hip to its fullest. On Heatwave, they are not rounded, as you can see, they are squared off. So he still has the waist joint, but when you rotate the waist this way, that's as far as the leg will go. And you can push it up, and it does move the waist a little bit, but this rubs against this, and you could damage this hip section or this waist section. If you go this far, that's literally all you're gonna get. It's unfortunate that they changed this piece. I don't know why they would have changed it this way other than just design purposes, but like, it means that this doesn't articulate as well as this because, you know, they've changed that, and that's a very weird choice to me. And I know they changed the hips because they need these pegs at the back, because this one doesn't have the pegs at the back. But if they just took this and added the pegs at the back, I would have been okay with that. But he does have a thigh swivel that's hindered by the sculpt, so it only goes about that far. You have an over 90-degree bend at the knee, then you have your ankle tilt. So like it shares all the articulation as the other two. It's just the elbows and the hips are just very weird. They're very weird. So the robot looks cool and all, but the feel of it here just kind of feels off. It's not the most fun thing to mess with in pose, but it does look cool once he's in said pose. The transformation, though, is where a lot of my other problems come from. It is time to turn him into a I don't know what voice I'm doing. It's time to turn him into a fire truck. So let's straighten him out here. So it's a lot like Bulkhead, and by extension Breakdown, but again, some of those like new weird things just kind of crop up while you're transforming it, and then mine has a big glaring issue, which I've already customer serviced, so we don't have to worry about that. But to start with, you want to unpeg the shoulders. This shoulder will want to come out by itself anyway, so I'm just going to unpeg it and bring it off to the side. This one does not like, okay, now it's going to work, but usually it doesn't like coming undone. It's really, really stiff, this peg. Then I'm going to just I'm actually going to take the ladder off because you have to take it off anyways, and you just fold this up and it sort of just eats itself in there. Get that out of the way. We're then going to take the entire torso, bring it up, and bring this whole section up and out of the way like that. Fold the head in, bring the shoulders down on their little hinges there, and then peg them together here. See, this is all normal standard stuff. Now there's a new piece here, that little back section that covers in that little hole. I like that. This here, this is issue number 1. So this little bit, you bring it down, right? And it actually clicks into place as opposed to the other two where it just sort of sits. However, it becomes so hard to like get out, and it's made of palm, so it's gonna flex, but if you flex it too much, it will stress. So you have to like wiggle it free using both hands. There it goes. To get it loose. This is way too secure, this panel. Then you want to bring these up on their weird looping hinges. And this will come over and clip into place. Again, loud clip. The other ones aren't that loud of a clip, but this is such a pain to get off. There it goes. I don't like that. I don't know why it's so secure now. It was never a problem on the original. It didn't have to do that. Then you bring this section up and out and around and bring that up. Then you want to fold the feet in. You want to open the sides to get the gas tanks out. Close this up. Angle this down. Peg the gas tank in. Fold the foot up. Open this up. Oh. Yeah, mine didn't come with a gas tank. It just wasn't there. I've customer serviced it. I've got something on the way. It's fine, but that is a little annoying. Mine did not have a gas tank. So we're gonna bring this down, peg it into place, fold the foot up, get the one gas tank that I have plugged in, and then you wanna fold this section down and over the butt, like that. And there you have the truck. Now we have to get the ladder pegged in. So what you do is you take it and you peg it into those pegs at the back of the thigh, and then you have those two teeth right there that the feet will eat. So they'll go around that. And once you have all this situated, it doesn't sit flat. And it's not like it's the gas tank that's missing, because I've taken it off of one of them, put it on here, and it still wobbles. But it never sits flat unless I unpeg the ladder from the thighs here and just sort of pull on it a bit. Now it sits pretty okay. It's a little wobbly, but it sits pretty okay. But once you get all this pegged together, it lifts the front. You can see that. It's really annoying. Yeah, so it doesn't sit flat. That's unfortunate. The ladder, again, is also just weird because, like, it's non-functional. It feels strange that there is a mounting point on the back that isn't really being used as a place to have a rotating ladder, or all the pegs on the actual truck bed themselves that they could have used to put a ladder that rotated and just take it off and plug it on the back. And mine, like I said, was missing that gas tank, but I've already customer serviced it. It's dumb and annoying, but like, I've customer serviced it already, so I've dealt with the situation. It feels way less refined than the other versions of this mold, and that is a bit unfortunate. There aren't any new parts exposed in this mode, but the alt mode from any angle that hides the back looks great. It's just overall kind of Each wave has to have that one figure. Last one was Solus. This one appears to be Heatwave. If you can find it on sale and are a Rescue Bots fan, then I would say go for it, but otherwise it's not something I would really recommend to someone. There are other and better ways to experience this mold, and I would highly recommend buying any of those other ones over this. But that's my look at Age of the Prime's Heatwave. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.